do you see that I don't?
There's something very, very wrong going on.
Hey guys, Sam here with HorrorMom.com, and today I wanted to talk to you about the movie Weapons. Weapons is the movie that stars Julia Garner and Josh Brolin that came out in 2025, and now it's not in the theaters. You can actually rent or purchase it. You can find it on Amazon Prime. And I was really excited to get to watch this movie. It is one that has really intrigued me. And honestly, Weapons is a movie like nothing I've seen before. I can't think of other movies like this. This was just super, super creative and just off the wall. So Weapons is the story of a town that experiences the loss of 17 children from the same elementary school, the same classroom, in fact. And this all occurs on the same night at the exact same time. They're just poof, gone. And this leaves the community questioning who or what is behind the disappearance amidst their many stages of grief. When I saw the preview for this movie, I literally thought, oh, it's got to be some sort of government op, you know, they steal these kids and then they go to use them as assassins later on. Nope, nothing like that. No government conspiracies. I was completely wrong, and I was delightfully shocked that I had nothing right. But it is really wild. And I think one of the reasons why is because people were not aware that this is actually a supernatural horror, a psychological horror, and another type of horror that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to give anything away. And I love it when movies are unpredictable like that. And especially when like it's a good thing. It's not where you go into a movie and you're completely disappointed. This was going into this movie experience where I was like wowed and shocked and just giddy with like, how did they come up with this? Another thing I really liked about this film was the way that it was set up. So in the film, you have 5 main characters, and throughout the film, it's almost like a chapter for each character, and you end up following them and their experience over this certain time period. And as we go through the characters, their stories start to overlap and things start to come and be unveiled as to what's kind of going on as these characters are kind of coming together. And I thought that was really unique. It was a great way to give you a lot of information and a lot of detail about specific characters, but then really being gradual and sneaky about revealing what's really going on. Something else that I learned online about this film was that the writers were motivated by the theme of grief. And what I find interesting is if you look at the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And you can actually link each one of those to one of these 5 characters that you kind of go through what's going on with them. And I think that was pretty cool. I think that was like an interesting aspect of this film. Another thing that somebody else had brought up to me was that there's a lot of themes of addiction in this film. If you look at each character, there's definitely something else that's going on with them that affects them on the outside. And I just think it really brought a lot of depth to these characters, looking at them through their grief and then also any type of addiction. So something to think about when you are watching the movie if you haven't seen it yet. I did feel like watching this movie, it was a little slower paced in the beginning, especially with the horror aspects, but then it hits a certain point and it's like all bets are off and the horror blows just come out swinging. This movie is very unpredictable. I liked that about it, and the gore that they did have was pretty intense, and it was very well done, but it always kind of comes out of nowhere and you're like, dang, what's going on? The scares also, there were some jump scares, there's some creepy, super creepy images at certain times. And even though you know you're in like a creepy point of the film, those scares kind of pop out of nowhere. So it was fun. It was a good ride. And as the movie progressed, it just got better and better and better. And I loved the unveiling of what was going on because they give you enough to be like, what is going on? And not enough yet to know all the pieces. And once you get all the pieces, you're like, wow, this is something else. I think Weapons has a great cast. Julia Garner played the teacher that actually loses her students. Her name is Justine in the film, and I really like her character. You get to follow Justine quite a bit, and you know, she is a teacher who has lost her students and she just cannot move forward. And the other main character, Josh Brolin, who plays Archer, he's a father of one of the missing students, and he is the father who is not going to give up. He's mad, he's angry, and he wants to get to the bottom of this. Both of these characters are kind of at odds at a certain point, and then they kind of realize that they actually have more in common and that they they need to work together. I think that was a great way to have these two characters face each other in order to help each other to find out the truth. For score, I'm going to give Weapons an 8.25. I really, really love this film. I've already watched it more than once. It's one that I know I'm going to revisit. I just think it was such an incredible story and just so creative and spooky, and I just wanted more from it. And that leads me to probably, if I had anything to complain about the movie, there's two things that I would bring up. Number one, there is a sixth main character. I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't want to give anything away, but I would have loved to have had a chapter on the sixth character. You'll know who that character is because there is no chapter for them, but I would have loved to have more information about this character. I would have been wild. And then my only other thing would have been, the ending might not feel like complete closure for everybody, but what I will say about that is they actually give us more information than they did originally. When they screen tested this film, I guess people really complained, so they did add some more information at the end. So I guess that's why I don't want to complain too much about that, because I would have wanted more, but I guess we have to be thankful that we got as much as we did. But you know, the ending, I would have just liked a little bit more closure. Endings are always hard. You can't always have these wonderful, happy, everything wraps in a bow endings. And sometimes if they're aloof, you know, that can work on certain films. But this one I would have liked just a little bit more information to close it up for me. So those are my only two issues. Otherwise, I think this is a great movie. I highly recommend this movie. If you have not seen it, you're in for a truly wonderful ride, an original ride, and something that you just haven't seen before, and that's really cool. If you have seen Weapons, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Otherwise, I will see you guys soon in the next one. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Are you watching?